This is no pointing the finger, this is just facing reality. Hi guys, it's me, SC Magic, and today I want to, I guess you can say, warn you guys of 5 excuses that can ruin your productivity. Aside from the fact that I'm known for being an online resource that provides tons of tips to people for success, I also just in my everyday life tend to be that person that friends come to for motivation or they're in a slump. I'm just that person. So I thought, why not share with you all of the excuses I tend to hear so that you don't fall into the same trap. Before I get into that, of course, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. I release tons of videos on tips for success, content that you can use to build a project or your business or succeed in your career, so make sure you subscribe. I also did used to release vlogs about life in LA and me going to events and all sorts of fun stuff, but as you guys know, we are socially distancing right now, so that's not a reality. So unfortunately, I don't release those videos anymore, but hopefully I can again soon. Maybe I will do some vlogs about just life and me talking to you guys, showing you what I'm doing in my apartment. I do plan on having an apartment tour video soon, so stay tuned for that. Alright, so let's get into those 5 excuses. I apologize in advance if any of these offend you guys, because I'm sure some of you will be caught in some of these sort of excuses at times. I know I have too, so this is no pointing the finger, this is just facing reality. Okay, so in no particular order, here we go. One of the top excuses I hear all the time is, I need to get organized. Next thing you know, you've been getting organized all year because you say that exact same thing every weekend, and it prevents you from actually starting anything. And I get if, okay, you need to make a list of things to do, but there's a big difference between making a list of your daily to-do versus organizing your entire apartment, things that don't even need to be done before starting your new project or hobby or business. Let's face it, you do not need to reorganize your closet to work on something. Yes, they have said that decreasing clutter does improve anxiety, but there's a big difference between reorganizing your whole closet and making sure your living room is clean. Really, what this is a sign of is that you're in extreme overwhelm, or you've built up this project to be something so big that you feel like you need to do a huge list of things just to even get started. That is a problem, because then you'll never start and you'll be getting organized all the time. So you gotta break that cycle. You gotta say, listen, I don't actually need to clean my entire, closet in order to get organized. I don't need to go through all my Goodwill stuff in order to, work on this thing. I just need to do enough for me to start that one thing. Not do the whole thing, start the one thing. And literally it could be something as simple as, put the laundry in. Okay, you've done that. Now work on the thing you need to do, instead of creating this huge thing of, doing all your chores, organizing your whole bedroom before you can start this one project. So just be careful of that trap of creating this huge mountain of something that you have to do that creates even more fear for you to get started, because you've made it into this big thing. You gotta organize everything before you can get started. So just don't get caught in that trap. The next excuse I hear a lot is, I already ruined my day, so what's the point of getting started right now? Let me tell you something. Some of the most important projects I've worked on with big name clients, with whatever I'm working on, I started working on at 2 a.m. in the morning. It is never too late to start something in your day. If you're starting at 1 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., it's not too late. And I find that we also do that with fitness as well. At least I know I do, where it'll be like, oh, I ate one wrong thing, therefore I might as well give up the rest of the day. No, it doesn't need to turn into that. There's still time to turn around. No day is ever a waste, and no day is ever, a throwaway day. So I would just not get stuck in that trap of just giving up on days, because those days will add up. Meanwhile, you could have done 1 hour one day, 1 hour another day, and got a huge amount of work done, because added all together, it still makes a lot of progress. So there is never too little time in a day to start something. The next excuse I tend to hear a lot is, I don't know how to do X, or whatever the X is. You get the hint. It is some sort of thing you're working on. Here's what I'm here to tell you. There is such a thing as Google, as YouTube. I mean, after all, you are watching this video. You can learn how to do it yourself. And if you don't want to learn how to do it, you can outsource it. There are tons of people looking for work, looking to do some extra gigs, make some extra money. If you don't know how to do it and you don't want to spend the time to learn it yourself, outsource it and somebody else will do it for you. Or if you're like me, who initially when I hustled, a lot of my skills came from just teaching myself. Get on Google, get on YouTube, watch tons of videos, get the training or pay for training or whichever. There are so many things and resources these days that can help you learn. The next excuse I hear is, I have a full-time job. And yes, this is very understandable, because I've done the same thing, balancing full-time work with launching projects, working on my business and all sorts of things. But believe it or not, some of the greatest businesses that we've seen, most successful businesses, have been started by people who were working full-time while they started that business. Yeah, it's not ideal in terms of really scaling your business, but it's better than nothing, and it's proven it can be done, so you can do it too. Even if it's 1 hour a day, even if it's just weekends, it's better to start while working than to wait until you're done, because who knows, you might be at that job for a very long time. And so even if that job is not your number one goal, it's still there. And so you gotta learn how to balance the two so that you don't end up leaving whatever your number one goal is behind. Ultimately, there are 24 hours in a day. Ideally, we get 8 hours of sleep. And if you work full time, you have another 8 hours at your job, and then that leaves another 8 hours for you to do stuff. And yeah, of course, we gotta work out or eat, but even if you subtract those, you still got a good 3 to 4 hours left of doing stuff, I guess you could say. Or if you really don't want to do that many, then 2 hours, or again, we go back to the whole outsourcing things and getting other people to do it for you at a good price. The last really big excuse I hear is, I need to rebrand. This usually happens to people who have started something in the past and it fails, so they feel like they need to do a whole new redesign, a whole new rebrand. When a lot of times you don't need a complete overhaul, you actually just need to test more things and see what component maybe you need to change. And maybe you realize you don't really need to change that much. It could just be because you didn't put enough effort in the first go round. So don't get caught up in that excuse. And again, it goes back to creating an entire mountain out of a molehill and saying, I need to restructure my entire business. When it might not be that. It might just be, I just need to change the title. I just need to add one extra ingredient or something very small, depending on what the business is. It could just be, they're changing some of the language I use in my business. A lot of times it's a lot smaller, and I find that often at times that when the person is done their rebrand, it really isn't that much different from what they had before, and the core product is still the same, and that it actually was just an excuse to kind of procrastinate and put it to the side. So again, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. A lot of times you don't need all those things to do your rebrand or to continue working on your business. And don't get jaded by, your past failures, because a lot of times they're not failures, especially if you've learned from it. Anything that helps you learn from the future, in my opinion, is a part of your success or a part of your journey to success. If you feel I left anything out of this video, I would love to hear from you in the comments. What other excuses do you usually hear that you feel like it's just an excuse and you can actually overcome if you really put your mind to it? I would love to get your guys' input in the comments below. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and also check out lagoals.com, where I have a ton of resources for success there. All of this podcast content that's not on my YouTube channel, you can get it all there. Learn from founders, entrepreneurs, people who have been successful, giving all their tips there. Also, if you want to talk to me, you can in LA Goals as well. Ask me questions. We have quarterly group chats and message boards, so head over to LA Goals to check that out. With that being said, as always, I hope you keep being magic. Bye!